taking questions from reporters. He says he's concerned about election-related violence.
The president has no concern the presidential vote will be free and fair, but
I don't know whether it will be peaceful. The things that Trump has said and the things that he said last time out when he didn't like the outcome of the election were very dangerous.
President Biden says he is concerned former President Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, won't accept the results. Speaking from the White House briefing room for the first time in his presidency, President Biden also said he was not sure if Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was holding up a ceasefire deal to influence the presidential election.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The former president is in Georgia alongside Republican Governor Brian Kemp moments ago, 4 years after they had a falling out over 2020 election results. Today, focusing on hurricane recovery efforts.
Our hearts break for the more than 200 American families who have lost their lives already.
The former president noting the hundreds that remain missing. He heads next to hard-hit North Carolina for a first-hand look at the devastation there. Vice President Kamala Harris visits North Carolina tomorrow. Today, holding a rally in Michigan.
I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from. I will never forget where I come from.
She says Trump's record is a disaster for working people and calls him an existential threat to the labor movement. President Biden says today's jobs report is proof his agenda is working. 254,000 jobs created in September, the unemployment rate dipping to 4.1%. And the street rallies, the Dow up 341 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. As the leader in identity theft protection, LifeLock reminds you to update your passwords. Using the same password across multiple accounts makes you vulnerable to cyber criminals. Updating your passwords is only one way to help protect yourself. For comprehensive identity theft protection, you need LifeLock. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes issues that arise. Start protecting your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
The U.S. Supreme Court will decide whether Mexico can sue American gun companies.
Mexico accuses Smith & Wesson and other U.S. gun makers of contributing to the illegal firearm trafficking of military-style weapons to Mexican drug cartels. The suit filed in 2021 notes Mexico has strict gun control laws, making it nearly impossible for criminals to legally obtain firearms, alleging over 70% of the guns recovered from crimes in Mexico are from the U.S. A federal judge dismissing the case, citing a 2005 law that shields gun makers and distributors from being held liable for gun violence. But a federal appeals court ruling there should be an exception in this case. The defendants challenging that ruling and the Supreme Court agreeing to take up the case. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The new Supreme Court term begins on Monday. The justices also agreeing to review whether nuclear waste can be stored at rural sites in Texas and New Mexico. A federal appeals court ruled the Nuclear Regulatory Commission exceeded its authority by allowing a private company to store spent nuclear fuel at a Texas dump for 40 years. Election fraud allegations lead to criminal charges in Michigan.
4 St. Clair Shores residents voted twice. Now, this is a crime, and my office is prosecuting the 4 voters and 3 municipal election employees for crimes related to double voting.
Michigan State Attorney General Dana Nessel says the election workers charged are accused of ignoring warnings and knowingly allowing people to vote twice. Recapping stocks, a late surge on Wall Street. A rally got bigger at the end. The Dow up 341 points to a new record close, 42,352. The S&P almost back to record territory, up 51 points. The NASDAQ gaining more than 1%. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Logan, everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign Van Ness vicinity and slowing and weakening frontal boundary has generated some cloud cover in spots and even a couple of showers in areas to the north and west in particular. Earlier on this morning, they are weakening and drying on up, but nonetheless can't rule out maybe a hit-and-miss shower, particularly as a venture from Champaign and points on south and eastward for the day today. Slightly better odds this morning up to the north and northwest, just enough to barely settle the dust. No impact on harvest operations, nor the weekend, nor next week's dry weather. Becoming partly sunny, again a stray shower around this morning and this afternoon with a high up to about 76 on a light east to northeasterly wind, a bit gusty this afternoon. Fair tonight down to 54, light northeast wind gusty this evening. Tomorrow sunny, warm at 82, partly cloudy west northwest wind at 77 on Sunday, 73 on Monday, lower 70s Tuesday, so slightly cooler into the early to middle parts of next week, but by Thursday and Friday, recovery with sunshine, highs well into the 70s. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Hey, what's up? It's The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Happy Friday. I'm back from Big Ten Media Days. That was a good time up there. There you go. Yeah, let's drop that. Can you tell me who sings that, Kyle?
Nope.
Oh,
really?
Man.
Come on.
Dating us.
Yeah, no doubt. Wow. I didn't realize
Eminem.
Kyle wouldn't know that. Eminem. Yeah, he's going to be a grandfather.
I saw that, yeah. Got a custom-made Detroit Lions jersey. That was a nice little way to announce.
Somebody right off the bat just nailed the top right square in the bingo card with Eminem. Yeah, they're like, sweet, that one's done. Tell me about the bingo card, by the way. That was awesome.
It was pretty cool. We kind of noticed that midway through the interview session with Kylan and Ty that they were like checking off certain things in this paper and like they got a bingo card. He had an empty square for NIL. And so we were talking amongst ourselves there in that corner, Joey Wagner and I. And like, all right, who wants to ask? I was like, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
And I was supposed to serve one up to Ty, but I said to both of you guys.
Oh.
And what ended up happening is I let Kylan get bingo as well. And it didn't work out how Ty had hoped with me giving.
Brad Sturdy called you out, man.
Both of them. So
he called you out.
Yeah, it's all good. You know, I was trying to play along and help him out, but ultimately I kind of botched it. But pretty cool idea. And it does point to, Joey Wagner and I were talking about this today on our Atlanta Inquirer podcast. It shows that we're predictable as media.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, it comes to the territory. You kind of have a good idea of a media day and what's going to be asked. And there's only so much that you could imagine. You can ask off the wall stuff. I don't know what you're going to do with that in terms of writing an article or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you kind of understand what are the main talking points, and credit to Courtney for doing something fun, and it allowed those guys to have some fun along with the process, which I'm not saying they don't enjoy being in front of the mic for that, but it can get a little predictable and bland at times, I guess.
I mean, it reminds you that these are kids, right? I mean, they're not kids, but you know, these are just college dudes having some fun, and I think that's awesome. And I loved it. I love the idea, and I think that's great that you helped Kylan get the old bingo. I mean, that's got to be big in his mind. So this year,
I would hope so.
He's going to be searching you out for some stories. You know, you'd be like, "Hey, Pipes, I got a good story for you at practice today." You know, I mean, you deserve that.
I fully agree with you. So yeah, if there's any kind of big feature, one-on-one type of thing, Kylan hits a game-winning shot, I want an exclusive.
Yes.
That type of thing.
Totally
so,
agree.
Yeah, maybe that's something that can pay itself off down the road. Now, Ty might remember that and be like, yeah, you know, if I put up a 20-20 game, 20 points, 20 rebounds, Piper's going to have to sit out the media conference.
Yeah. I'm coming to meet him in the back after we're done.
He helps out the enemy side.
That's exactly. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Hey, one thing that we didn't even address yesterday, I'm talking about Kyle and I'll take the blame for this. Josh Whitman was there. And we didn't play any of Josh and didn't even really talk about the fact he was there. But anything come out of that with regards to Josh Whitman? Any breaking news from Josh on things?
No breaking news. I know he was asked about the House settlement in terms of the revenue sharing, and understanding that there's a process there that they were trying to see if the reporters were seeing if there was any kind of update on Illinois' side, and like everybody else out there waiting to see what the ultimate ruling is. There's an expectation that it will be passed through and that the new reality is going to be a revenue sharing model, but that has not yet gone through.
Okay.
So I haven't. Number one, I'm not the most sharp in terms of like the legal terminology and all that, but yeah, pretty much it was wait and see. Still trying to understand that you got to come up with $22 million. That's the framework of it to be able to hit the max threshold of revenue sharing. So pretty much that is in limbo for now. I asked him about Tim Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked him, I asked Brad, and I know that Ty Rogers had a comment on as well. And it didn't provide a lot of insight, as you can imagine, into the particulars on that. I said that, our thoughts are with Tim and that he did a lot of great things for us in the program and his time, 3 seasons at Illinois. So beyond that, I know that Joey asked him about with the expanded rosters now with higher scholarship allocation, would you hit 105 scholarships in football? He said probably not. Haven't heard of any programs out there that are going to do that.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, not a ton in terms of like groundbreaking.
Okay.
He didn't announce hockey yesterday.
Right.
But yeah, always good to catch up with Josh, and I think maybe one of the best things that in terms of interest is talking about how big it is to get off a fast start in football and really get that attendance up, and because that is a big part of trying to raise as much money as possible for the athletic department, is making Memorial Stadium a place to be on Saturdays and get as many people in there and buying concessions and I was about to say congestion, but we don't need that.
I did buy some Memorial Stadium merch today.
Nice.
They sent an email out, and I got on there, and they've got some cool like Red Grange type stuff, Memorial Stadium type stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I need some of that new stuff. So I was able to do that. So I'm helping out a little, I guess, if that counts towards that. So
perfect.
Have we heard about Purdue? Like how many tickets? And I think Michigan, there's still a few tickets left for Michigan, like under 1,000. Which means it's going to sell out, we would assume. So if you have plans on doing that, then you probably ought to snag one of those tickets. I think they may be only single tickets around the stadium right now. So if you're going with 2 people, you may not be able to sit together. But I hadn't heard about.
Have to go to the secondary market.
Yes,
sub-hub.
Well, right, exactly. But I have not seen anything about Purdue, and I would assume there's going to be a good crowd for the Purdue game. I mean, I've been proud of the crowd since the opener with Eastern Illinois on a Thursday night at 8. I mean, that was a good crowd, and they just kept it going with Kansas, and of course, on and on. So I think there'll be a good showing against Purdue, and then I do feel like Michigan will be sold out, which is going to be so awesome.
Big deal, man.
That's
such a huge game. ...
You don't lose to Purdue.
Oh, boy.
Nah, we're not. Illinois is not going to lose to Purdue.
There's really no reason to. Is there?
No, there isn't.
I can't come up with a reason other than you talk about the history, but what does that matter to guys on this team? It shouldn't.
No.
And I know you have the storyline of, well, they know you as well as anybody because of Ryan Walters and Corey Patterson, Reggie Love's over there. But I don't know. I know I'll give a shout out